And just like that, nasty Zoom went, no. We'll wait for the other two girls to come in. Oh, that's the first time that's happened to me.
Same here. Sorry, I was like blabbing away and not looking at that.
No, it's okay. But I was like, oh man, sure enough.
I've never experienced that either, but I'm glad that Barb had and gave us the direction.
Because I would have went, oh no, the whole thing's just done. What am I going to do? How am I going to connect with these ladies?
Yeah.
Here we go. There's Barb. Admit. And then we just need.
I'm going to mute.
Okay, no problem. One more. And we just need Judy, right? Barb, you're so smart. Thank you so much for sharing that knowledge. We're just waiting on Judy here. So I love the fact that, you know, we've got grateful, we've got connected. I'm going to come back to you, Leslie, while we're waiting. There's Judy. I'm going to let her in. There we go. Yay! We're back. I know. So I'm going to come back to you, Leslie, because we didn't get a chance to hear what your word was. If you had a word, do you have a word?
I also feel I have a lot of gratitude that, you know, even though I'm, you know, struggling with why I'm feeling like this, and I'm feeling kind of guilty about feeling like this, because I didn't lose my job, have my entire existence ripped out from underneath me. The hardest thing they've asked me to do is stay in my home, which is lovely and comfortable. And, you know, I do feel very grateful, and I do have a lot of gratitude. I should have to stop watching the news.
Yeah, stop watching the news.
No, honestly, I went.
We do get into.
It came on at 9 and it didn't turn off until.
Oh.
And my brain just spiraled out of control of how this was affecting the world. And I completely agree with Lori about. I mean, here I am saying older people, but obviously older than me. But I guess I'm older. But what got me, which really upset me, was seeing the seniors inside the homes looking out the window. That just sent me over the edge, and very early in this whole process. And now, of course, all the unrest in the United States, and it's just I feel out of control, I guess, that way, for worrying about things. Rein it in a little bit. I think I'm worried about my grandchildren's lives, how this is going to affect them moving forward. I'm very worried about the economy. Just like, you know, it just goes spiral. But sure. Personally, you know, the worst thing I have to do is stay inside.
And sit here with us.
Right.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And you know what? I want to validate for you, Leslie, that those feelings that you just described are all natural feelings of what happens whenever our core human fears have been compromised and our beliefs have been compromised. So, you know, I hear you saying, I feel guilty for doing this. That's a response to this. But know that your feelings are very valid, right? Because there's definitely something that has been triggered in you. And I'm going to explain a little bit more here after I just briefly let you guys know that my whole world is, or my word of the day here is also grateful. I have had such a blessed last few months with connecting. Last year, I literally opened up my big mouth to the world and said, okay, I'm ready. And it came full on. And it came in full on in such a powerful way, but it was also an overwhelming way. So I really, truly had to learn to navigate the waters of you know, how to proceed, how to be the best version of myself, but also how be the best person for the people that I support and the family that I have and all of those things. What happened for us here in this family just as COVID broke is that my mom was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. So my mom lives with us. She's older and I care for her. And so life, I mean, that first week when all hell was breaking loose, we had to be down in Toronto seeing 4 different doctors and running around and getting all of this stuff. But then everything went on hold. So there was no surgery that could have been done to prevent things. There was none of these things. So we were dealt this hand of really, truly being rocked on an extinction level. And I'll explain that a little bit here in a minute. Of, you know, we're faced with life or death. So not only were we faced with life and death here that we couldn't control, but then the world shut down. My daughter was out east and she was there, and I had kids. My 2 other kids were here, which was fine. I care for my sister who passed away a couple of years ago. Her kids come to me every other weekend and we share time, and it's so good for all of us, and that had to stop. So the whole world for us literally just went in your face. And so I can totally relate to all of the feelings that you guys have discussed here today, because I too felt that. Then we got a cold. And then you went through the fact, do I have COVID? No, I don't have COVID. But, you know, we were in this existence in the very beginning, trying to nurture and navigate the waters of being not totally unwell, but not being well. And then again, watching the news and then saying, no, I got to shut this off. Like everything it's just too overwhelming. So I like the fact that you brought up today, Leslie, that there are points of us, and, you know, Judy, you brought this in, Lori and Barb brought this up too. There are pieces of our life that we are always in control of. Whenever our, life is rocked in a way where we start to question our safety and our connection, then our 5 core human fears get tripped. You talked, Leslie, about how your brain just spirals. That's what I call the critter brain. So, you know, our brains are made up of, and I've had these talks at the library and the different sessions that we've had. We have 3 brains basically in our emotional, physical self. Yes, it's one brain, but our brains are made up of different systems. The system that literally truly overwhelms us is the critter brain. It's the one that's responsible for the fight and flight. It is the one that is, they get the hell out of Dodge, we're in danger. You know, Will Robinson, let's move, right? We know that when the critter brain is tripped by an experience, by a situation, by a fear, by an overwhelm, by overstimulation or stress, we put ourselves into that period and that state where we're constantly in that loop of stress. So it's not doing our body a service, and it's not doing our mind a service, and we're not able to rationally think. So it's not uncommon to be in that loop of, you know, okay, so this happened, this happened, this happened, now what about this? Oh, what if, what if, what if? I really don't like what ifs. I tried to really stay in what is right now. So today's sessions, I'm going to introduce to you 2 really powerful tools that I have used in my practice, and I have also used for myself. What you guys may or may not know is that 13 years ago, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and acute panic disorder due to, you know, a situation that happened. I had to learn to navigate through all of those things. So all of the tools that I share with you are tools that I use to keep myself well and healthy on a daily basis. They are the tools that I share with my clients, and they are the tools that I share out in the community because they are valuable. I call them my first aid, my emotional first aid toolkit. You know, they are valuable coping skills that you can apply to get that regulation back that we hand over when we're in crisis, when we are overwhelmed, when we are sad. You know, there's no denying that we've also grown up with in a world and with patterning where you kind of were taught to suck it up, buttercup, you know, soldier on, it's time to be strong, especially, I remember in the middle of my situation, one professional saying to me, "You're a mom of 3 young kids. It's time to pull up your big girl pants and move along." And I thought, are you kidding me? I'm doing my best. But those are the things that happen, right? And we can't control those outside things. We can only control ourselves. So I'm going to attempt to share a screen here with you ladies. I practiced this before we got on. So bear with me here, and I'm hoping it's going to work. And there it is. And we're going to share. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to get it.
Oh, yeah. See it.
See it? Okay. So
Yeah.
actually, let me go here because I want to, I want to open the other version of it. But Zoom was being silly. Okay, so let me go to here for 1 second. I don't want to do that one because that's a PowerPoint and it won't let me. Oh, actually, maybe it will let me show you the transitions. Can you guys still see it there or no?
Disappeared now.
Okay, so let's go to there for a minute. Let's go into here. I'm sorry, I'm still like a technological newbie whenever it comes to sharing this stuff. And I got all the yummy stuff. Okay. I know that I can do this. I did it earlier. Don't fight me. See, I also talked to my computer too. I know how I did it. 1 second, please. There we go, Canva. And I'll open it up that way and then I'll be able to show you. Come on. Presentation. So how are you guys coping with stress now? What are the things that you have been doing to help you navigate it when you feel overwhelmed? Anybody care to share?
I watch opera every night for 3 hours.
You watch, what is it, Barb?
Opera from the Met Opera.
Oh, okay.
It's a free streaming thing, and it's on from 6:30 or 7 until whatever. And it's been, I am an opera fan, but I've been exposed to so much. It's just been great.
Okay.
So that's been restful for me at the end of the day.
Perfect. Anybody else?
I've been into bird watching.
Okay.
Feeders that I've put in my backyard. My kind of morphed into a house cat. Kind of just stare at them and long to be outside. But now we can go outside because the weather's better.
I
Well,
love that.
I
have
enjoy it.
you got cardinals?
Oh, I've got cardinals. I've got goldfinches. I've got I had an indigo bunting. I don't know if you know what that is. That's a tiny little purpley bluebird.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I've got bunnies now. I've got oh yeah. They're all
Wow.
nice.
Talking about birds, I've had a heron. Is that what you?
Yeah.
Fly right up the creek behind me and land on the backyard. And I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely a message. Thank you so much. You're beautiful and you're gorgeous, and oh my gosh, I'm in awe. So that's amazing.
You must have fish somewhere.
I don't know. Either that or she's just coming to say, hey, young lady, simmer down. There's lots to do.
Ducks show up at my bird feeder, and I thought, where are you coming from? Because I'm not that close to the water. So
Really?
they just waddled up to it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see that yet?
Thing, I think there is a lot more, and it's really nice to see.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've got this working. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Yay! All right. Okay, now I'm going to move all of you beautiful souls over here so that I can see you. So today, of course, is the Soul to Soul Community Healing Circle. We've already talked about who I am. You know who I am. I'm a professional life and wellness coach that works with individuals who are looking to transform their fears into truth and personal power. All of the details that you can look out more of what I do and what I offer are on the website, and it's at the top of the screen. You can share that at any time. But as I said before, today's topic is really truly about fear of what is next. So we've talked about this already, that, you know, yes, we've all experienced so many variations of what's going on in this 12 weeks that's happened. And we're now going to be entering brand new ways of thinking and living our lives due to the COVID crisis. Every day there's going to be a new challenge to overcome with this, and an underlying fear or threat of illness that runs through our minds, because that's just what's happening. So the question that I want to pose to you today in this is, what if I told you that fear was actually a good and necessary response to have in your life? You might say, what? Are you crazy, Heather? No, I'm not crazy. Well, some days I am, but the issues here with fear is that we have been programmed to handle it in a way that is out of touch, that is not a reasonable, rational way. We're in our critter brain and we can't, you know, see those things. So I'm going to go through a few things here today. Did I lose Barb? No, I lost
No.
Barb's there, Leslie's there, Judy. Hopefully Judy will hop back on here. So as I was talking about, and I've made mention to a few times here, understanding the lesson of the 3 basic human needs. We all need to feel safe in our life. We all need to feel loved in our life, and we all need to feel that we belong. So when all this stuff happened, there's no denying that probably 1 or 2 of those human needs were rocked a little bit. Combine that with the 5 core human fears. Those are, as I've got here, extinction, to which I talked about before. And this is simply the fear of an annihilation or a ceasing to exist. Number 2 sounds really bad. It's really not as bad as it sounds, but I have to say it anyway: mutilation or bodily invasion. So this is a fear of losing part of your body or having your body invaded. So as you can see, we've probably all been touched by that, because there's this virus out there that we don't know anything about, and we don't know how we can get it. Well, we do know how we can get it, and we're on edge, right? So that fear could be triggered. The other fear is the loss of autonomy. So being, you know, and feeling really constricted or confined or trapped, suffocated, smothered, or immobilized in any way will kick off this trigger that goes, you know, danger, danger, and your critter brain will go a little wonky. The other things that happen are the separation, abandonment, or rejection. Barb, you talked about this. Leslie, you talked about it as well. It's our need to belong and our need to be attached. And when that's threatened by isolation or whatever happens, or something's taken away from us, then that core belief is also triggered as well. And then last but not least, there's humiliation, shame, and worthlessness. And this speaks to that sadness that comes about. We all need to feel worthy of love and valued in the world in order to be able to connect with other people and ourselves. So as you can see, I'm just kind of trying to give you the framework of why these things happen, how it can be triggered, and how it can be tripped. All right. So what's really truly important to do at this point in time? The top 3 common fears that humans right now are feeling are the loss of autonomy, which is that feeling trapped or frozen in life. It shows up in our relationships whenever this is triggered, as feelings of being powerless and hopeless. And as it can show up in parenting relationships with, you know, that parent is wearing, you know, Lori, you can probably relate to this. You're wearing so many hats and you're trying to do so many things for so many people that you are the last on the spectrum. And then, you know I can say that there was times when my children were growing that I would literally lock myself in the bathroom just to pee and say, I just need 5 minutes to myself, you know? This was kind of that loss of autonomy, because you're giving up so much of yourself to be with everybody else. So that's a big one. The other big one is separation, abandonment, and rejection. So we're being separated by the people that we love. that can trigger that feeling of abandonment and isolation and being alone. And then it triggers that rejection of, oh my gosh, nobody wants to come and see me. They can't come and see me, even though they can't come and see you. But maybe it's tripping up all these things that have been in your life. So as I said before, that primal need is to belong. And when that's threatened, it triggers those 3 primal needs of connection, that safety, love, and belonging. We go into that critter brain mode that Leslie talked about, and this shows up in our relationships, in how we're communicating with people. And it'll also, if we are dealing with a skewed view of this fear, or a fear that's been tripped, then it might play out in your relationships as to, you get so close to somebody and then the walls go up and you don't go anymore, you don't move anymore. And then last but not least, it's humiliation, shame, and worthlessness. Again, this is that need to feel worthy of love and value in the world in order to be able to connect with people and with ourselves. So these feelings show up in our negative loops as being bad. So they're not coming to visit me because I'm bad, or I did this, or there's an intense fear of failure or criticism or anger. Or Barb, maybe this is part of, a combination of that separation and this other humiliation, shame, and worthiness is what your friend's going through right now, because she's just like frozen. She can't do anything. So this just kind of gives you an idea that these are the top 3 things that we're faced right now with as a human society. And I want you to know, and I want to validate the fact that I know that you may feel like you're alone, but please know that you are never, ever alone whenever you can fully ground in to the connection of who you are. How do we do that? We do that by taking a look. Number 1, observing, understanding the process that got you here. Imagine taking a moment and just looking at the fear like a camera lens. What is it about the fear that affects you so much? What is it about the sadness that affects you so much? The loneliness, whatever it is, what is it? Take a snapshot of that. And then put that snapshot away for a minute. Then I want you can take many snapshots. I mean, you may end up, saying, well, I feel like this when I'm lonely. I feel like this when I'm sad. Take a look at all those things. See what that feels like in your body, what it brings up for you. Is there an emotion, a taste, a feeling, a sound, or any kind of sensation? This is our way to go to number 2, where we can identify. So we're finding the truth and naming the issue. When we're able to do that, then we feel the fear inside of the situation from a picture frame. And then I want you to take a look at that and say, okay, well, what does this fear look like? What does my sadness look like? What does my pain look like? And then alternatively, allow yourself to pull up a screen and acknowledge what your joy looks like, what your passion looks like, and your excitement looks like. Because this is going to allow you the ability of resilience and understanding so that you can see what everything looks like. And you'll be able to recognize the difference and know when you're dipping the toe deeply in the waters of critter brain and out of control spiral, or if you're just kind of teetering and you can pull yourself back with some, fresh breaths, some meditation, some opera, whatever it is, some bird watching, just places for you to connect to you, to the center of you. And then this leads into number 3, because whenever we're observing with honest eyes and identifying the truth about what's happening, then we are able to accept. So you now see that the foundation that maybe you were looking at all of this stuff from, and the brickwork wasn't really truly laid in a proper way. Maybe it was flawed a little bit. So it's time for you to take a look at that. Say, okay, how can I fix this piece? What could I possibly just shift differently to acknowledge? And the shift mainly comes when we start to give credit and acknowledgement for just how far you've come and what you've overcome and accomplished. So for Leslie example, you know, you mentioned that you had been forced in retirement based on a medical condition, right? So your free will, in essence, was kind of taken away. Your autonomy was taken away because you were no longer able to do what you wanted to do. There was a preventative. And now this preventative has showed up in your life. And well, what the heck? What do I do with that? What does this look like? Who am I with this, and who am I now? So if you're able to observe, identify, and accept, and then just look at that and say, okay, well, I'm the same old Leslie that I was before. I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life to get me here. I've been successful. I have lots of accomplishments. I'm grateful for all of these things. Yeah, it feels like my whole world is completely uprooted and leveled, and I don't know where to begin. But I know that I begin by stepping forward with one step, because I've been here and done this before, and I can do this again. So that just kind of sets up that framework to say, okay, this is how we do things. This is how we're going to move forward. Now, if you're really in crisis, reach out to somebody who can help you navigate this. And this whole thing today is truly meant to just kind of give you an overview of things. There's a lot more in-depth stuff and steps that you can work with somebody with, but at least it gives you a starting point to say, okay, listen, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to identify it, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to move through it. The next thing, does anybody have questions there about any of that? I want to see, did we lose any questions at all? No?
No.
5 participants. I can no longer see Judy. Can anybody else see Judy?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yay! I was afraid I had lost you altogether and I had missed letting you in. Okay, perfect. All right.
I've been here all along. I just, are these slides that you were showing, I was trying to write stuff down, but I wasn't quick enough.
I'll share them with you.
Are they on your website?
They're not. They're part of this program. So I will send you this recording and then you can have them, okay? So that you can look through them. And that's what I do after all of my sessions is I usually just share the slides with you guys in a PDF. And then if you have any questions, then you can.
That's super.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. So if there's no questions about that, what I'm going to move to next is the fun part where we get to play a little bit. And I think that I can count on you ladies to have a little play and fun with me here today. Has anybody ever heard of tapping?
I have.
So Judy has heard of tapping. Have you done tapping, Judy?
Not really, but we discussed it in a yoga class one time. Yeah, but we didn't really do it.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know what tapping is called emotional freedom technique. Tapping is a very useful tool that works on the basis that we have meridians in our body. It's very similar to, and you have to know that my coaching practice and my empowerment stuff is all about whole body because I incorporate so many things into it. So emotional freedom or tapping allows people to move through situations of stuckness, of heaviness, of fear, of anger, of sadness, of all those things by literally tapping on meridian points in our body that correspond to the emotions and to the energy and the flows of, maybe you've all heard of chakras. So we're working with that whole premise as well too. So this is called the karate chop, where we just tap on the outside of here. If you are ever struggling, or if you are ever in a place where you are just not doing well, just simply tap on the outside of this point. When you do this, it has a natural response that's stimulated within your body to set off those emotions and those endorphins to calm down that critter brain. So this is where we always start, and then we move through. So I will go from here. What we do is we do a tapping mantra or opening statement. We say it 3 times while you're tapping on this point, and then we move through. So we're going to go to above the eye. It's going to look like this. Beside the eye, under the nose, or under the nose, or under the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, to the collarbone, and to the arms, okay? So here we go. We are going to do a tapping today about loneliness, and how fitting is that? And I didn't even know you guys were going to bring that up. I just thought that's what we need to do today. So we're going to start, like I said, on that karate chop point. So everybody tapping on your karate chop point, I want you to just take in 3 naturally deep breaths. When I ask you about how you feel about loneliness, on a scale of 0 to 10, pick a number. Where are you at with this right now? And whenever you have that number, we're just going to, you can close your eyes, you can leave your eyes open, whatever you want. We're just going to tap on that karate chop point, and then you can say this in your head as I'm saying it. Even though I feel really lonely sometimes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel really lonely sometimes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel really lonely sometimes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And now moving to the eyebrow, this loneliness. To the side of the eye, it's all consuming. To under the eye, it's so intense. To under the nose, I feel so alone. To under the mouth, even when I'm with people. To the collarbone, I feel so lonely sometimes. Under the arm, this loneliness. To the top of the head, it feels bigger than me. To the eyebrow, this loneliness. To the side of the eye, it's all consuming. Under the eye, it's overwhelming. Under the nose, it feels bigger than me. Under the mouth, it's safe to feel this loneliness. To the collarbone, I can let myself feel it. Under the arm, even though it's scary feeling lonely like this. To the top of the head, I don't like how it feels. To the eyebrow, I feel so alone. To the side of the eye, it's safe to feel this loneliness now. Under the eye, I can feel it. Under the nose, I can let it go. Under the mouth, this loneliness. To the collarbone, it's inside me. Under the arm, I can release it now. To the top of the head, and make more space for connection. To the eyebrow, this loneliness. To the side of the eye, it's been holding me in. Under the eye, preventing me from connecting. Under the nose, it's what's here to protect me. Under the mouth, but it's hurting me. Onto the collarbone, and I can let it go now. Under the arm, I can let go of loneliness now. The top of the head, and let myself be more open to connection. To the eyebrow, it feels risky though. Side of the eye, I might get hurt. Under the eye, but this loneliness is hurting me too. Under the nose, so I'm glad to let it go now. Under the mouth, I'm going to free myself from this loneliness. To the collarbone, and let myself connect more. Under the arm, it's safe to make more space for connection. Top of the head, I don't need this loneliness anymore. To the eyebrow, I can see that I'm not all alone. To the side of the eye, I can connect with people and feel safe under the eye. Letting go of this loneliness under the nose. It's okay if my relationships aren't perfect under the mouth. It's okay if connecting with people doesn't always work perfectly to the collarbone. I am safe letting go of this loneliness now under the arm. I can seek out new ways of connecting to the top of the head. It's safe to feel safe connecting with people. And then just take a breath. And I want you to tell me what your number is now. What was your number first of all, and what's your number now? Judy, do you want to start?
Well, I was at 6, and I think now I'm at 4.
Nice. Very good. Barb, were you able to do any?
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable touching my face and doing all that because of, pardon?
That's
I
fine.
don't feel comfortable doing that. I mean, they say keep your hands away from your face and whatever.
Yes,
That's right.
understandable. And you know, Barb, if you wanted to just touch your hand, you could do that, right? If you wanted to do that later on, you could totally do that. But I understand that and appreciate that for sure. Lori, how about you?
I would say it was a 5, and now I'm a 3. I found that very calming.
Nice, good, okay. And where did,
Leslie?
yes, I can't see you.
Oh, okay. Am I there now?
I lost you. You're not here now, but
Oh, okay,
I-
just
it's probably because I'm
Hi.
sharing the screen. Where are you at?
all I can see is a little square with you in it, but
Okay,
I guess I'm not on gallery. Maybe that's why.
that's okay. What were you? What was your number at the start?
8.
Oh wow, okay. And what were you now?
I'm really not sure.
Okay. Do you feel a little decrease at all, or no?
Not really. No.
Okay, all right. And sometimes that happens. I mean, most people will they will do it a few times and then you can decrease that number. And sometimes people just aren't comfortable doing that, and that's okay too. So what I am going to do with you guys here right now, I noticed that we're at like 2:45, is I'm going to actually I want to share meditation with you. I just don't want it to go off on me before I go and it's just a quick little meditation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up and just let you know, I'll share all these screens and stuff with you. If you want to go onto my Facebook page and just PM me or direct message me, then I can send all that stuff over to you because I don't have your emails, not all of you. Or you can email me directly at thechroniclesofmamaMac@gmail.com and I'll send over this stuff for you. And I'll also share a recording of both of these things. So a meditation, a little heart meditation, as well as the tapping if you want to practice it on your own. Because sometimes people, you know, don't want to do those kinds of things just because they don't want other people. It feels silly. I get it, you know, but you can definitely try it another time. Before we go, is there anything anybody has questions about today, or any ahas to share, or did you get something, you know, exciting from this that you can take away and use?
Yes. Thank you, Heather. It's been very enlightening, I think.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, so everybody, if we shut off here, just know to PM me and I will send you the recordings of this, but I want you to just close your eyes wherever you are. Focus on your breath, an in-breath and an out-breath, and just let yourself get comfortable in your space, settling down into your body and shifting your weight until you feel well supported with your head and your neck and your spine straight. And getting more and more comfortable with each deep, full, cleansing breath, inhaling all the way in, letting your belly rise with the in-breath and subside with the out-breath, soft and steady. And with that next breath, sending the warm energy of the breath to any part of your body that's tense or tight or sore. And just sense how it warms and loosens and softens any uncomfortable places. Releasing them with the out breath so that more and more you can feel comfortable and easy with the healing action of your own breath. Aware of any distractions that might be popping up and breathing those out too, so that just for a moment your mind is still and empty.